The FCC chairman came out and basically said, like you have to, if you have one of our licenses, you have to act in the public good, right? I'm not saying I agree with it, by the way. Calm down.
Welcome back to another episode of Care for Boys, where we are very saddened today because one of Steve's favorite late night hosts has been suspended indefinitely.
Oh, dude, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, boys.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Another whitey bites the dust.
Yeah, sorry, man. So, yeah, Jimmy Kimmel's show has been suspended indefinitely. There's conflicting ideas about what that means. Wall Street Journal says it's going to be back up in a couple days.
What?
They believe it can. I don't know why. And then on the other side of things, it's completely gone, and the others are set to go next, apparently.
So the official reasoning is because he made that Charlie.
So well, it depends what you're looking at, but like the most popular reasoning is that because Jimmy Kimmel had said that MAGA is trying really hard to make this kid who's the shooter not look like one of their own. That was the main line. And then there's another greater thing that people are now looking at more is that there's a merger between two companies, Nexstar and I think Tegna is what's called. And that's like the parent company. Nexstar is a parent company over the show, and they need to get FCC approval in order to merge. It's like over a $6 billion merger deal. And so they're, as a way of like padding or trying to gain favor, they're taking Jimmy Kimmel out over this as a thing, where maybe that's not the reason, but it's a good way to get away with losing him over it, because also late night TV is dying, but you can't just get rid of people. Like, you obviously need a good reason for it as well.
Well, because of the contract stuff.
Yeah. So there's that too, where I think
Jimmy Kimmel has a contract with them, and if they can like blame something that he did like in malice or whatever, then they can opt out of his contract and don't have to pay him out.
Got it.
Like if he pulled his dick out in Palos Verdes, like, dude, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
Cancel the contract.
Is it known how long that contract is supposed to go?
I don't know.
But if it makes sense, if the show's losing money and if they're doing a merger and then the buyer or whatever, they're looking at it, they're like, bro, this thing is losing money. Like, we got to get rid of them. They're like, all right, well, before the deal's done, and then this was a perfect reason to fire him. But is the official reason why he was fired because of that?
Well, the thing is that on the cut and dry side, so his statement that he made was made a day after the Utah governor had already released information through the authorities that were investigating it that the shooter was indeed a leftist. I don't know. I don't care what he is. I don't know. But that's what the information they received.
Got it.
So knowing that they already had that, yet Jimmy Kimmel decided to still say, oh, they're just trying to make him seem like he's not MAGA as much as possible. That's like, I'm paraphrasing it.
So he's like pretty much fired from telling a lie, kind of.
From being completely defiant over the
The FCC chairman came out and basically said, like you have to, if you have one of our licenses, you have to act in the public good, right? I'm not saying I agree with it, by the way. Calm down. He's saying like you have to act within the public good, and so we're not going to, we could suspend their license, like ABC's license for this.
Because it's like technically considered misinformation that he's like...
Because that's the official statement
Right.
of the investigation from an actual officer.
Right, exactly.
So he's going against what the officer said.
Which who knows? We haven't determined yet exactly the truth. It could go back and forth. And plus, like, there's so much material that's fake on both sides that put him in random t-shirts with AI that make this dude look MAGA or look liberal, whatever. But all they know is that the network had facts and they chose to say something that wasn't actually what they received.
So then that is the reason why he got fired. Like that's
the public
official.
That's the reason they're going with. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
That's what they're going with. But then, like, again, like, there's no way that's the only reason. I just highly doubt it.
There's so many other underworkings that we'll never actually really know.
I think it's a big combination of all of them all at once, and I think that was the perfect, like, oh, that's a great out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because these shows are bleeding money. That's a fact.
Aren't all of them doing bad?
They're all doing bad.
Because wasn't was it Conan or recently someone also stopped doing
Colbert?
it. Oh, Colbert.
Well, he's not done yet, but he's out like next year.
Oh.
They're canceling the show.
But then it's one of those things where like everybody's outraged about it. Can't even prove they've watched a full episode of this freaking.
I haven't watched a late night TV show since like 2010.
And you only watch the clips because they're slam fucked into your feed. Like you're not looking for that stuff. It just happens.
I mean, I also think that the outrage, I guess, comes like there's a high level kind of way that people are describing why it's outrageous, right?
Yeah.
It's the idea that Charlie Kirk specifically was fighting for like free speech. And then so the online argument is like, well, Jimmy Kimmel just said something and now he's getting his show canceled for it. How is that free speech, right?
And by the way, I personally agree with that.
Yeah, I do too.
But then there's the counter argument, and again, I'm not saying I agree with shit, but the counter argument to that being like, there's a difference between what free speech is, where if you chose to say something, you would get assassinated or imprisoned by your government for it, versus you can still say anything you want, but there are consequences to things that you say, especially when it comes to a private company or network is your boss.
Yeah.
That's completely different
That's
if you
different,
say
yeah.
something.
But the FCC is leaning on ABC and leaning on this merger. So you could argue that the government is using their power to harm somebody who used free speech.
Absolutely, yeah. Because it's going through that line, yeah.
Government overreach.
Yeah, and I'm not a personal fan of Jimmy Kimmel, but I just never have like got on with his type of humor. But he should get to say whatever the hell he wants, in my opinion.
Even when he was on the Man Show.
That's when I liked him.
And also, if he's technically a comedian, right? And this isn't like official news. I think news should probably have a different standard from like a talk show. So like, for example, like if you're reporting news and then now it feels like everyone just has an opinion as a newscast or anchor, right? And then they're kind of parroting like one angle depending on what that station sides with.
Yeah.
Whether it's Fox or CNN. I think they have more of a responsibility to be like unbiased. I think it was during Clinton or Bush, but they used to have this rule where if you're reporting one side, you have to at least have 30% of your content show the opposing side.
Oh, okay.
It was called the Fairness Doctrine.
Yeah, they used to have that. They don't have that anymore. So you could go full left or full right, and it becomes this like echo chamber, right?
Is that why Fox News like doesn't consider itself like news station?
They're entertainment. They all kind of did that.
All of us
MSNBC had to
yeah.
do that too, because
Oh, MSNBC did that too?
because the legal battle stuff.
Right, because it's too hard to like report on stuff.
But a talk show host or a comedian, I feel like they can have their own viewpoints and opinions. Yeah. Even if it's like,
And what's the standard? Like Joe's saying, like, so if I'm watching the news, I think they're more likely to be punished for giving information that we know isn't true.
Right.
The Jimmy Kimmel writers' room is not responsible to like update the current most news.
That's a good point.
I just think that's weird.
yeah.
I really think.
And then why
Right.
is he getting punished, but all of these news stations that fuck up all the time on purpose,
Right.
Right, yeah.
they don't even retract statements.
No, yeah.
They're getting sued all the time for defamation. They don't get in trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
And then it further polarizes like the ongoing conversation of like, you know, the right is usually like cancel culture, that's really, really bad. And then now the right's canceling people.
They're hooping for it.
So it gets it really, really complicated now because of like what is already, again, a high level online. People in general on social media aren't going to be like, I wonder what the business play is with the FCC, or is there a possible merger that's affecting this decision to cancel this? Nobody's going to do that. They're just going to see the clip. Like Ryan said, most of you, they probably don't even watch an entire episode of Jimmy Kimmel. But it's like, yo, this is like speaking to my echo chamber of political understanding of like why this is an incorrect thing.
Yeah.
And it's just fueling more of that fire.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate because like Steve was saying, when you just follow that chain up, it is the government itself that is influencing this the most. Because
Absolutely.
that's who they're trying to appease when it all is said and done. And like I don't know if I'm really biased about believing that anything that happens in any industry is money's the root of it. And in this case, like they want to make money on that merger. And the reason why it's difficult is because it's hard for media companies to merger because they'd never want like monopolies to develop and stuff. So it's very like
Yeah, they really care about it a lot.
it's very difficult to pull off. So I'm sure like at a time like this, that was just a really not a good move to do
Right.
for your show.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Plus, you got the coincidence that Trump recently was just like, Jimmy Kimmel's next.
It's true.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened there?
After Colbert went down, he said Kimmel's next. He tweeted it.
Well, now his tweet is saying that that the rest of the guy, like Seth Meyers, they're all next. He said that straight up.
I think, look, to me, it's the government, the FCC being involved in leaning on companies is how it's always been, like what Ryan's saying, but that doesn't make it okay. I don't think that what Jimmy Kimmel said was even a joke. So that part of it like was weird for me because I'm like, that wasn't even a joke, dude. Like there's no bit, but he should get to say it. And his writer's room isn't responsible for getting the current most information. Like, I don't know why people are saying, Jimmy Kimmel's giving disinformation. Like he's not like a news anchor, brother.
Yeah.
Like that's not the same
That's
standard.
like if Ja Rule gave a wrong thing and everyone's like, Ja Rule!
Right, dude,
We're canceling Ja Rule!
That's like when people say, oh, JK, you got this wrong. We're like, okay, yeah, true. Like, we don't need to be, nobody looks at us with some huge standard because, first of all, we get the news out pretty late.
Trump's I wouldn't say tweet because I think he only uses Truth Social now. But he said, great news for America. The ratings challenged Jimmy Kimmel show is canceled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. Kimmel has zero talent and worse ratings than even Colbert, if that's possible. That leaves Jimmy and Seth, two total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are horrible. Do it, NBC. President DJT.
By the way, that was funnier than what Kimmel said, but
Two total losers.
you know this fool's been holding grudges.
Yeah.
He's probably like, ha! For all those jokes you made of me.
It's just funny to think that's where we're at.
by the way, I'll never forget the clip when Tucker Carlson got fired from Fox News. Jimmy Kimmel came out and he was like celebrating it, like but he was doing a bunch of jokes about it, God forbid. Like he's just joking about it. People on the right are going like, see, so Jimmy Kimmel was rooting for Tucker Carlson to be canceled. And it's like, yeah, he was, but he was also just there as a comedian doing jokes about it. Like it's not like, it's not the same to me.
And even if Jimmy Kimmel was like giving misinformation and stuff, we should still also have that platform or the space to be like, okay, that was incorrect if you got called out on it, you know? Like
That's true,
Because he's not
yeah.
being held at that level, like Steve was saying, as like a news anchor that's meant to be only giving factual information.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's a talk show.
Yeah. Like the next day to be like, hey, the other episode, we had said some things. It's not accurate, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's why when, Alex Jones got sued, his lawyers said like he's an entertainer. When Rachel Maddow got sued, her lawyers said she's an entertainer. Like they're not news people. Like that's what they used legally to get away from that. I think a Fox News anchor got sued. Same thing, said like I'm an entertainer.
I guess I could see the network's point of view on that even more then, because like when Alex Jones gets sued, like he gets sued to shit, and ABC's probably like, okay, we can't have that happen. Let's cancel the show.
No, legit. Yeah, that's what's going on.
Oh, so
Yeah.
it's a protective, like.
Yeah, because imagine, I don't know who, but if there is some sort of detriment to somebody out there because of this statement, and then they go into this giant lawsuit, and now it's like $1 billion suit.
Well, Trump has been suing the news stations.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
he won a bunch of settlements from that so far.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
damn.
it's because of that actually American legal sue culture that I can see why it's another plus towards like let's just cancel this.
Well, yeah. And it's just a liability they'll have to move forward in this merger with, which they probably wanted to minimize, I'm guessing.
But it's not about Charlie Kirk. It's not about like
Freedom
anything
of speech.
except the money. Like
It's
Ryan
all
said.
money,
It's
yeah.
all the money, dude.
Because remember during lockdown when Facebook and everyone was canceling and closing accounts and doing all that?
Mm-hmm.
That's actually because of the government were breathing down their necks and saying, Facebook, if you can't get your shit in order, we're going to come in and do it for you.
So this all came out recently. That all got I think it was like declassified. Or it was a Public Freedom of Information Act thing. Facebook was being emailed by the government every single day, and they're saying, "Why aren't you reporting what we want you to report on COVID cases and on COVID numbers?" The Biden administration was personally pressuring Facebook every single day.
Yep.
So same as it ever was, unfortunately.
And we saw the emails with X when it was Twitter, and why everyone that was going against the narrative was because they were getting messages directly from the CIA and the FBI telling them to stop.
Exactly.
So
Exactly right.
it's always, at the end of the day, it's power and government.
Right. I think that's the main point is like I guess like if you're watching JK News, like I guess the stance that we're trying to push is like don't have an immediate visceral emotional reaction to stuff like this because the things that are at play are just there's way more elements there. And I think like most things you let everyone else off easy when you just get mad and you become a worse person and you lose friends over these things that are happening where they're gaining money and gaining connections and they're actually winning over it. And if you're the only one losing, then it's very much a pitiful thing if it's your loss. So
And I used to fall for stuff like that, emotional reactions and stuff like that. But once I learned to follow the money more, like got older, it's been pretty clear.
everything basically is a money move, especially at that level. Like what wouldn't be? Why wouldn't they? Right?
There's no morality plays.
Well said.